This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. Sean's out at a media event today, and I'm filling in for him. And we start out the show today with the auto industry in complete turmoil over President Trump's threat to slap 25% tariffs on imported cars. While most of the focus has been on Mexico and Canada, the tariffs will likely go on all imported vehicles, and the Europeans in particular are really nervous. Oliver Zipse, the CEO of BMW, says the European Union should cut the tariffs on cars imported from the U.S. from the current 10% rate down to 2.5%, which is what the U.S. tariff on European cars is. Ola Källenius, the CEO of Mercedes-Benz, says the EU should reach a grand bargain with the Trump administration to avoid a trade war. Meanwhile, Volkswagen, to avoid paying tariffs, is reportedly looking into building Audis and Porsches at its assembly plant in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which has excess capacity. The new Scout plant that's getting built in South Carolina could also be used to make Audis. But let's not fool ourselves. Even though this is physically possible, it would definitely drive up overall costs for VW, Audi, and Porsche. And as a side note to this, Volkswagen officially canceled plans to sell the ID.7 electric sedan in the US and Canada. Dealers worried that the price would be too high and the volume would be too low. Though VW never announced pricing for North America, the ID.7 sells for about $55,000 in Europe. General Motors is also feeling the Trump tariff pain. Even though GM's earnings report yesterday beat Wall Street expectations, its stock price took a 9% nosedive, largely because GM did not provide any guidance on how the tariffs will impact the company and what it will do about it. Of course, you really can't blame GM too much. Nobody really knows what's going to happen or when. And while GM is undoubtedly wargaming all kinds of scenarios, you don't want to publicly say what you're going to do until you know what you're going to do. But here's one company that knows exactly what it's going to do. Jerome Dorlac, the CEO of Adient, the seat supplier, says there's no way it's going to eat the cost of those tariffs. He's warning automakers that he'll pass that cost directly on to them. Dorlac says Adient is in constant contact with the car companies over this issue, sometimes on an hourly basis. Trump is supposedly going to announce the tariffs this Saturday. If that happens, watch for car prices to go up significantly. Even if the tariffs are phased in over a number of months, the impact will be immediate. Think about it. The average price of a car today is nearly $50,000. That's the retail price. Let's say that the factory price is $40,000 before shipping costs and dealer markup. A 25% tariff on the factory price would boost the cost of that car by $10,000. And that kind of price increase will push tens of thousands of consumers out of the market, especially those with low credit scores who will no longer qualify for a loan or a lease.
There's nothing wrong with heavy metal.
Hey, lighten up.
But with world-class composite material, Teijin Automotive Technologies makes vehicles lighter, safer, and more eco-friendly.
We reported a couple of weeks ago that Sean Duffy would be the new Secretary of Transportation in the U.S., and yesterday, the Senate made it official. It voted 77-22 in favor of appointing him. And Mr. Duffy didn't waste any time. He immediately signed an order directing regulators to rescind the Biden administration's fuel economy standard of 50.4 miles per gallon by 2031. The standard is currently at 39.1 mpgs, and it'll probably hover there for the rest of the Trump administration. And the California Air Resources Board sees the writing on the wall. The CARB just withdrew its request to the EPA to set tougher emission rules for heavy-duty trucks and to force trucking companies to buy more fully electric trucks. However, California still has a rule in place that forces manufacturers to sell a growing number of zero-emission trucks each year. So truck makers are forcing their dealers to sell a certain number of electric trucks in order to meet those standards. And if the dealers don't hit that goal, the manufacturers will not ship diesel trucks to them. And this could wreak havoc on the California heavy truck market. And yet, despite all the worries of the Trump tariffs, they haven't hit yet. And for the moment, S&P Global says new car sales look pretty good for January. It predicts that U.S. customers will buy 1.1 million vehicles this month. That's up about 7.5% from last year. That puts the SAAR at 16.2 million vehicles for the year, which is a decent number, but it's still a million vehicles less than what sales were pre-COVID. S&P Global also says BEVs should hit 9% market share, which is also decent. But it could also turn out that people are just rushing out to buy new cars now before the tariffs hit, and rushing out to buy EVs before that $7,500 subsidy goes away. Honda says it achieved a breakthrough in quantum materials that could make sending communications more secure. Scientists at the Honda Research Institute USA developed a new method to create what they call a nano-ribbon. It's a material that's just a single atom thick and only tens of atoms in width. When it's excited by a laser, the nano-ribbon material emits a light that can carry encoded information to create what they call a physical layer of quantum secure communication that can immediately detect any attempt to intercept that communication, i.e., they can tell if anyone's trying to hack it. It's all pretty technical, but if you're interested in more details, we've got a link to that in the transcript or the description box. And for the last segment in today's show, Tesla is showing off the capabilities of its autonomous technology at its Fremont plant in California. The company posted 2 videos on X that show Model 3s and Ys driving themselves without a human aboard around the factory. The vehicles navigate a 1.2-mile route from the factory to the loading docks, where they're then loaded onto trucks to head out for delivery. Tesla didn't reveal any other details other than what you can see in the video, but in the post it did say this brings it one step closer to large-scale, unsupervised FSD. And that's a wrap. Thanks for watching Autoline Daily, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel or sign up for the daily newsletter on our website.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Intrepid Control Systems. Over-the-air engineering boost your game. And by Adient Automotive Technologies, the formula for better mobility.
Developing today's vehicles, issues can happen in an instant. What good is knowing your problems without the data to solve them? Meet Wireless Neovi Cloud, your secure off-the-shelf solution, empowering real-time collaboration for quick resolution. With Wireless Neovi Cloud, your team can prevent issues before they can escalate. Driver communication data and remote diagnostics to analyze and resolve your problems using OTA, allowing your executives oversight throughout the process. Wireless Neovi Cloud, your vehicle update solution in production and on the road. Intrepid Control Systems, driven by your data.